Good afternoon, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Spilling Tea. I'm your host, Tiffany Daniels. We're going back to that horrible world known as the JRC. But before we do, the usual disclaimers. And yes, I'm getting the 1,000 yard stare because I'm still got the sword of Damocles over my neck. Because my boss has yet to figure out that him breathing down my neck makes my numbers worse, not better. Call center woes. Don't do it. All right, folks, if you're unfamiliar with the Stop the Shocks campaign or the campaign against the troubled teen industry, you're going to find all the pertinent links right there in the description box. Please, in particular, take note of the article written by NeuroClastic, a small non-for-profit started by autistics for autistics. In it, they interviewed over 900 ABA professionals in regards to the JRC's so-called behavior modification program. The Judge Rotenberg Educational Center doesn't want you to read that article so much. They threatened NeuroClastic with a defamation lawsuit. They did not remove it from the website. NeuroClastic refused, so you know the drill. Read the article, share on all your social media. Also included is NeuroClastic's public statement regards to the defamation lawsuit threat, as well as a link to their GoFundMe. We are crowdfunding just in case the JRC ever actually does see through with their threats. All right, folks. Trigger warning one. When we discuss places like the Judge Rotenberg Educational Center and Agape Boarding School for Boys, you're going to hear vivid descriptions of and clips of surveillance footage of people with mental health issues and disabled people being tortured and abused. If you got young children present, please use your headphones. Trigger warning 2. This channel is marked not for kids for a reason. We use profanity on occasion and we speak on dark subjects. If your child is 16 and younger and they are watching this, very obviously parental supervision is very much advised. All right, folks. So where we left off yesterday, more critical to the evaluation of the effectiveness of ESDs for SIB or AB is their ability to achieve durable effects by adversely conditioning behavior. In other words, and in layman's terms, if we take this kid eventually off of the device, has that former bad behavior been replaced with a good behavior, or are they still going to have to be stuck on that device? It's a valid question. It's the most important question of all. A durable effect is one where an individual develops a conditioned response. So the target behavior, along with frequency of shocks, is significantly reduced over clinically meaningful period of time, either while the individual continues to wear the ESD or after the ESD is removed. Okay, I always get freaking triggered with the whole conditioned response. Let me tell you what that is. It's essentially something that they do through ABA, where they try to mold you into a neurotypical by forcing you to do the same action and the same type of response over and over and over and over again as a means of almost, folks, if it sounds like brainwashing, that's because it's brainwashing. Just because the majority of ABA frowns upon the JRC does not mean that their methods are any better. You shouldn't be trying to brainwash a kid into being neurotypical. That is insane. Okay? Nor is it even really dealing with any issues. It's teaching you how to mask issues and show people what they want to see. Okay? But this is prevalent throughout the entirety of the medical model, this except in small but at least growing pocketed areas. But if we can just teach you the same thing over and over and over again, you're going to be brainwashed into automatically doing it when this pops up. I'm sorry, but that sounds sinister as hell. You are essentially telling me I cannot have my own genuine reaction to what's going on around me. I have to have a manufactured reaction that was drilled into me. Yeah. See what the problem is? Why is no effort going into finding out what's causing the behavior? The first way to solve a problem is to understand what the problem is. Okay? Trying these brainwashing behavioral techniques of conditioning is never going to work because at the end of the day, it's still a mask. And at the end of the day, we're human beings. One can only hold character for so long. Ask any actor. Ask any actor. I know a few, lower level, but still. They will tell you nobody can hold character forever. Eventually, it's going to crack. And guess what happens? Because the underlying issue causing the behavior was not dealt with. It comes back, especially in regards to autistic burnout, where sometimes it not just comes back, it actually intensifies. You know what I mean? So I wanted to speak on that because that drives me insane. It really is brainwashing for autistic kids. Truly. Essentially, they are trying to say here. Let me go back to where we were. That's what it's talking about, but let's continue. Half of the references, 32 to 64, include at least some information regarding the durability of the ESD effects. There are none, and that's including according to JRC's own records, I might add. Several of these references report cases where there was some short period of reduction in target behaviors followed by the failure, kind of similar to those of us who were still spanked as kids. The behavior that got us to the spanking part may stop for all of 5 minutes, but eventually it's going to happen again because we're not dealing with what's causing the behavior. We're trying to condition a behavior out. You see where I'm going with this, right? Excuse me. Most report a reduction in target behavior ranging from a few months up to several years, particularly with continued less frequent ESD use. Here's my thing though. There are some of us who get ridiculously good at masking and can go for hours at a time. Majority of us who have managed to pick up this skill have every last single goddamn one of us done it out of necessity. Usually we are victims of abuse. You see what I'm saying there, right? So we can go years without the going into meltdown. Before my last meltdown last week, I hadn't had a meltdown in 10 years. But because I'm not a moron, I understand that that doesn't mean my ass is cured and that it's never going to happen again. I know it will. The fact that it happens infrequently speaks to the success and the capabilities of what can person can achieve on being a part of a person-centered program. Just saying. I say that because you can't use that as an argument when you are literally conditioning kids to mask. Majority of us who are being abused will learn to mask for hours on end as a survival tactic. Years even. Okay? But eventually you will break character. That's the point. Most particularly with continued frequent ESD use. However, conditioned reduction of SIB or AB over clinically meaningful periods of time is much more difficult to demonstrate than immediate interruption of behaviors because, for example, data regarding such are more vulnerable to errors that well designed and controlled studies are intended to minimize. In other words, not only do we feel like your study is a crock of shit, we also feel like that this should have been done professionally, like everybody else has to. Establishing durable conditioning demands well conducted clinical studies and data spanning longer periods. For example, an individual may undergo several different behavior modification techniques over a period of time, and it is more difficult to draw conclusions regarding the effectiveness of ESDs from a study that does not control for such confounding uh, factors than from a study that did not control for them. As a result of such weakness and limitations as described in the paragraphs that follow, the limited data that currently exists for ESDs for SIB or AB are inadequate to establish durable conditioning. Again, they're saying in the creepiest way humanly possible that there is no evidence for long-term benefits when using the current GED device. And they're right. There isn't. We have yet to actually hear a story of an individual who has successfully managed to be weaned off and is magically cured because that person doesn't exist. We're going to go ahead and close on that, folks. We don't get very many views on this channel. The few we do get do tend to get removed from time to time. So please don't forget to hit the like button, hit subscribe, and don't forget to hit the comments. I appreciate your time. As always, folks, we here at Spilling Tea hope you have a good one. I'll see you in a few minutes. Bye bye, everyone.